True facts, guys. So anyway, spawning as player number 1 today, as the Wildlanders, the orange, we've got Striker, opting for the early storage hut. So this seems to be pretty much meta to try and get on those, cut down the travel distance on Wildlanders and Necromers. Not so much on Vitara because you'd have to sacrifice a Wisp for it. And today, as a player on Vitara, the blue Vitara, we've got Numudan spawning on the right on Ice Lake. So repeat of last map, so repeat in the openings with the nest v barracks. The nest this time a little bit earlier than the barracks. And Numudan, of course, scanning around the map. Striker killing Triceratops, getting his food. So we've got Growth and Mystic Healing as the opening, so these are also pretty much the meta to get your regen openings. Pretty much invaluable on all your units. So every second they're healing up, regenerating health. So Numudan actually sending his first Raptor capture while just checking to see which side Striker's on, and he's checked and gotten the wrong side, so he's going to come in a little bit later here. Perhaps this is going to be good because he can actually chip away at the archer first, if he wishes to do so. Ignoring that and going straight onto his infantry, but going to now opt to go for the archer. So, Striker out now. Oh, denied there. So Numudan capturing that Triceratops. I think it does take up a population space. Yeah, Striker does get the food from the other, because Numudan doesn't quite have the power to steal that off his opponent here, but that's a pretty big capture for him. Now that Triceratops can sit back, heal up, and Numudan can use it later on in the game. Oh, Numudan denying that one there, so that costs him the power, but it also denies his opponent a lot of food. And when it's that low power, it doesn't really matter. I mean, when it's that low on health, it costs less power, so it doesn't really matter. It's really worth it to try and get the deniers in with Vitara. So, Numudan actually supply capped at the moment. He's going to have to... Oh, he's throwing down the settlement, and he's got a treehouse on the way, so he's not going to be supply capped for too long here, because when you take your buildings, you actually free up population as Vitara, because you sacrifice the Wisp. So, Striker getting the settlement out, and it's going to be done, I think, just a little bit quicker. So even though Numudan is up in population at the moment, he's not able to make use of the Triceratops just yet. A little bit too low, he doesn't want to throw that one away. Can use it as a good tank alongside his War Raptors, because it's a bit tankier, a little bit slower though, I think. He's going to bring it in eventually. So that's another big reason why people, any civ, yeah, it won't save you anything in the fights, but yeah, when you back out, they heal for free. So Striker adding in the second barracks now, and a resource well there for Numudan. At this stage he's not opted for anything else, but he's got a lot of idle work. Oh, they're moving now. Only just finished on the food there.
Eyes open, weapon ready.
So neither player really wants to take an engage this early on, I think, because if they throw it, they can pretty much lose, because the opponent can just mass up units and push. So another barracks finished now for Striker. Numudan hasn't added anything more to his production just yet. He's just adding units at this stage. Weapon is on 35 workers. At the moment, population's pretty much even. Striker just ahead. And that Triceratops pretty much ready to head out. But now, another pair of nests coming out, so Numudan gonna really be ramping up his production in a minute. Meanwhile, another barracks has been added on here for Striker, so we've got 3 tier 1 facilities, and Striker getting the settlement upgrade in behind this. So he's going to be able to take another talent and get his upgrades in so he can get in the quicker upgrade on his archers than his opponents, Diplo, and really be able to rely on a good solid backline for better damage comp. So Numudan just sort of sitting in his base at the moment. I think he also wants to play until he can get some upgrades in. Striker getting in the worker food boost as soon as he can, so very good macro play there from him. And from Numudan as well, because he's really keeping up in terms of population here. In terms of worker count, he's actually pulled ahead by 8, so he's actually, yeah, he's got a 3rd settlement out, and he's really able to take advantage of that. Of course, his settlement, on the other hand, is quite delayed because they both cost both resources, and it's really hard to sort of try and fit both things in before your opponent when you're on the same number of production facilities and have, you know, roughly the same army size. You know, if you're both doing nothing wrong with your macros, so right now, Numudan's later settlement, and they're going to be kicking in as the poison arrows kicks in for Striker here, and then behind that he's probably going to take the fire warriors. So Numudan going to try and force a little skirmish if he can before the upgrade kicks in, but it's going to kick in now, so he's going to lose the opportunity. Right now, Numudan having to play a little bit defensively until Venom comes out. So he gets his caustic disc blows, and they can really go toe to toe in a fight. Striker's slightly ahead in terms of population, but nothing huge at the moment. He is still down on the working count because he is on that later 3rd settlement, which he hasn't chucked down just yet. So Numudan really only needs to get his 4th settlement. Striker needs to get a house and his 3rd and 4th. So Striker able to chip away at a couple of workers here in Numudan's, but Numudan really setting up to take a good fight if he can. But all that Sage is at the back of the army and it's taking a huge amount of damage. And Striker again is going to try and pick off what eco he can before trying to take a fight here, but he's got a lot of units here attacking the wisps while he's going to have enough here with the poison archers because Numudan's caustic diplos are now on the field. And saying that, Striker's now up by about 30 pop here. At the moment, this is a really big number of the poison archers now for Numudan, but Numudan, I think, is just able to hold here. In fact, the neutral Triceratops proving to be a bit of a useful asset there for Numudan. Bit of a free static defense in a way. And Numudan getting out of that, losing only a few villagers, but right now Striker is pretty much caught up to him in terms of village count because he's been producing them behind this. A whole bunch of Goan Gardens going down in the Catalyst, so that's going to put a dent in Numudan's working count as well. But he's going to get the food and the power as a continuous source all game, but these wisps are going to get caught out of Numudan, so that's a bit of a catch there. Saying that, he does have the food to possibly try and max out behind this. And Striker, pretty much even in terms of population, and a big number of his workers now having to stop gathering for a sec and try and pick up the sword. So Striker chasing Numudan around the map. Numudan with the slightly faster army composition, going to be able to get out there, and at the same time this Raptor is actually denied gathering here of Strikers, so Numudan getting in a similar style harass these workers forced round to this other storage hut. And all this army is going to go up here to deal with this one raptor, so not ideal. Oh no, here we go. So Striker only sending a couple of units now. A unit, and he's got the workers there, but he'll lose one. He will get the raptor eventually. But a whole bunch more raptors are coming up now because Striker didn't pull everything in the end. So instead, oh, this is a big catch by Numudan. Striker is going to lose all these workers here, as well as these guys over here are eventually going to get found out, and Striker's going to try and respond to this. We leave a unit there to catch the shrine as well, I think. But saying that, Numudan is definitely put his army in a tight spot here, and Striker hasn't split up his army to defend the south side of the base at all. And Striker losing a lot of his gatherers now. He's dropping to 40 gatherers, and he's being denied food gathering in 2 out of these 3 spots. So it's really rough for him. He's only really got this food back here, setting up his farms in a bit better fashion than he did last game, and now he's punishing one of Numudan's forward food gathering expansions here, and both players down to about 40 villagers. But Numudan's still pushing into his opponent here, and Striker meanwhile is pulling everything back, so this whole time Numudan getting a little bit more damage out. Striker isn't, but he's trying to split everything up, getting the smithy, got one of those barracks, and he's going to try and come down here and continue denying the expansion onto the food, because as long as he can deny someone here on the top side, Striker's going to find it really hard to keep gathering out in the map, and going to be pushed back onto the farms, because right now Striker down by 40 pop. He hasn't got all of his houses, and so that's the is that the bulwark there. And oh, really nice use of text there. Of God powers. Of powers there from Numudan. So Striker having to kite back, but he's down on terms of army. There's even some wisps being pulled here, just to provide that little bit of extra damage. And Striker down to 60 pop. Numudan has really done it now. He's getting on the middle food, and Striker